What's up, YouTube? It is Ronnie here today, and I'm doing a video on what is canon in Pokemon. So let's get into this video. So there are many different canons in Pokemon. There's the one video game canon, the one anime canon, and the various manga canons. Alright? And here we go. We're going to start with the video game canon. So, only core series games are canon. And the reason why is because, well, you see, I know the spin-off games are made by Creatures Inc., which is one of the three companies that owns Nintendo. And yeah, I mean, not owns Nintendo, owns Pokemon. And yeah, the company does have ownership of Pokemon. But still, that company doesn't have the original authors, you know? It's not the original creators of Pokemon. The original companies are Nintendo and Game Freak. That's it, Nintendo and Game Freak. And the core series games were made by Nintendo and Game Freak. So, and those were the original. And whatever is made by Nintendo and Game Freak should be considered canon, but yeah. And player choices are not canon. Like what the hero's gender is, all that stuff, or what Pokemon you choose. Listen. Each game has a storyline to go on with it. The player gets to decide its adventure or anything, but the games have a storyline to go along with it. And there are a lot of things out there like mangas and Pokemon Origins, which isn't really legit because of Mega Charizard Y and stuff. But never mind. But yeah, player choices are not canon. Now, you know how in video game pairs, one version's contradicting the other or it's the exact same thing, and there's a conflict? Now, that's where things get confusing, because you don't know which game is canon. Well, let me tell you this. The third version is always the canon version. Alright, for example, Pokemon Gold and Silver. Contradictory. Conflict between the games. In that, the third version, which would be Pokemon Crystal, is always the, resolution to the conflict. So Pokemon Crystal's canon. And all those other third versions. Now, you're probably thinking that in Generation 1, the conflict between Red and Blue, and then Pokemon Yellow would be canon, but that is not true. Pokemon Yellow is not canon. The history behind Pokemon Yellow is that it was inspired by the anime. And even though the anime is a canon, doesn't mean that something inspired by it is canon. So Pokemon Yellow is not canon. But so you're probably wondering, what's canon in Generation 1? What's the resolution to the conflict in Generation 1 in the Red and Blue? Well, guess what? We have to go back to the Japanese version. The original Japanese version. It was a different format, a different setup, a different lineup. You see, the first two video game pairs in the Japanese version of Pokemon, Pocket Monsters, was red and green, not red and blue. Red and blue in Japan, back in the old days, red and blue were not game pair. It was red and green. Blue was the third version. So blue would be the canon one. And you have to go back to the Japanese individual, because in the Japanese version of Pokemon, blue is individual game. It's not in a pair. It was red and green, then blue, then yellow. So, yeah. And I'm going to be doing a video on, well, why Pokemon Green never came to America will be a part of the topic. But, yeah. So next. We're going to talk about the anime canon. Every episode in the anime is canon, except for episode 52, titled Princess vs. Princess. Because episode 52 takes place before episode 49, making it a filler episode. All movies in the anime are canon. We all know that. I mean, alright. In Japan, and you're probably thinking, well, aren't the movies also filler? No, because in Japan, the movies are premiered between 2 episodes in chronological order. And we have to remember, the Japanese version of Pokemon is always canon because it's original. So you gotta go back to the Japanese version. Like, from an American point of view, you would say, hey, this is not canon and stuff. But you gotta go back to the Japanese. We gotta reference Japanese version here. And next we're going to go to the different various manga canons. Now, each manga series is its own canon. That is why there's more than one manga canon, because the various series are their own canon. And I want to talk about Pokemon Adventures, because Pokemon Adventures, Pokemon Adventures kind of explains canonical stories. There are many ways to find out the canonical story of red, the canonical story of blue. But anyway, other than that, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm Ronnie, and I'm out.